Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, as the Springboks look to try and end their year on a winning note, and they'll have to beat England tomorrow at Twickenham if they are to do that. England, on the other hand, looking to try and really sort of round off what could be a very successful Autumn Nation series if they can win tomorrow, because it would be 3 out of 4 wins, which is not a perfect record, but I always think that very few teams do go sort of 4 for 4. When they do have 4 tests in sort of an Autumn Nation series or end of year tour. So, pretty big game for both teams, and both probably haven't had the years that they would have liked. I think England would have also liked to have been a bit better during the Six Nations, and Springboks obviously have sort of struggled a little bit with consistency. So I think quite a lot of similarities in the two teams regarding that sort of consistency. But we sort of before we look at the two teams, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the English, who are very much a team that are trying to sort of find their best sort of 15, trying to really get going. And I think that what we saw, last week against the All Blacks when they came back right towards the end and drew with the All Blacks, they're a side that on two different spectrums can either be really good or a side that can be taken apart a little bit. So again, there's sort of that consistency a little bit up in the air, really. But if you look at the pack, Marco Vinapola, Jamie George into the starting lineup. Carlson came off the bench, trying to sort of nullify that Malcolm Mark, Stephen Kitsoff sort of environment that the Boks are going to sort of deploy. So very much sort of trying to sort of match fire with fire regarding front rows. Mario Toja does stay in the second row next to Johnny Hill. Alex Coles, however, comes into the starting lineup next to Tom Carey, Billy Vinapola. So Sam Simmons will be used as an impact player. Jack van Portleed is back again, despite having a bit of a tough game last week. I thought he struggled quite a lot throughout the game, but he is rewarded, or he is backed with another start next to Marcus Smith. Johnny May has a new wing partner, the likes of Tommy Freeman, Freddie Stewart in the fullback, and Owen Farrell, Manu Tuolagi will continue their centre partnership. Tuolagi versus Jesse Creel will be a very big match, and then obviously Owen Farrell versus Damien Lind is one to watch out as well. Off the bench, Luke Cowan, Dickie, Ellis Genge, and Will Stewart will try and sort of match that Springbok replacement front row. Ellis Genge and Luke Cowan, Dickie usually starting. But I think, against the Springboks with the likes of Stephen Kitsoff, Malcolm Marx coming off the bench, Thomas Latoya, they'll look to try and nullify that sort of impact. Dave Ribbons, Sam Simmons, the two other players there, and then there's a 5-3 split. Ben Young's on the bench. Henry Slade, who the South Africans will know, sort of very much tore the Springboks apart last year. He's next to Jack Noah on the bench as well. For the Boks, a lot of forced changes, obviously, with this test being outside the international window, and therefore sort of having no European-based players available to them. They have had to make a lot of changes, but it's the same front row with Oxenche, Bongi, Manambi, and Francois Herber. Even Etzebeth comes into the starting lineup and will be next to Marvin Ori, who retains a spot from Italy. Sia Khaleesi, Franco Mostert, joined by Evan Ruiz. Right, what will we see from Evan Ruiz in his first sort of real big sort of start amongst the big boys? Next to the likes of Franco Mostert, Khaleesi, very much being given the best opportunity to succeed. The question is, will the youngster really be able to sort of bring that URC form, bring all the stuff that we sort of keep wanting to see from him internationally? Will he be able to do it this weekend? Fat de Klerk continues to partner Dave Willemse. The only change there's 2 changes in the back line, which see Curtly Arendse switch to the 14, Marcus Pimpi come into the number 11 jersey. Damien Delendi switches back to inside centre in the place of Andre Estes, who was unavailable for this weekend. Jesse Creel returns at outside centre. Off the bench, Malcolm Mark, Stephen Kitsoff have a new bomb squad member in the likes of Thomas Latoya, although it is a 5-3 split, it's not your traditional bomb squad. Marco van Staden comes into the starting lineup, the first time he's been involved in a Springbok match this year, next to Kwagga Smith. So you've got 4 sort of really sort of good fetchers in the likes of Marks, Kitsoff, van Staden, Kwagga Smith. Jaden Henderson comes into the bench in place of Kobus Reinach, who's also unavailable. Mani Liebach on the bench again after a very impressive cameo against Italy last week. And then Kanan Moody, who returns from injury, comes straight into the 23. He will come off the bench in the last stage of the game. So very much backing Kanan Moody, despite him not having played a lot of rugby. It's 2 very good sides, but it's 2 sides who I think are both guilty of having some very soft moments. And tomorrow I think will come down to which side is the most disciplined, which side can keep it tight for the longest, and I think it should be a really interesting game. I want to know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. And both sort of coaching staff are under quite a lot of pressure, but also both coaching staff that aren't going to change before the World Cup. So this is very much another step towards getting towards being World Cup ready. For England, they'll obviously have the Six Nations in a few months' time. For the Springboks, this is the last time that we will play until about July. So it is a pretty important moment, and I think it's very much win tomorrow. It's we talk about building towards the World Cup. Tomorrow is all about winning the game, I think, and ending the tour off, with a 50% win rate, which is not fantastic, But if you go and beat England without a lot of major players, I think you'll look back and sit there saying, well, we were competitive against France, we're competitive against Ireland, we could have won both those games, we blew Italy apart, we beat England despite having a few players missing. You'll probably look at the Springbok tour as a success, the SAA probably quite a bit of failure, but a whole different sort of environment. Please do smash like on the video, please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.